Happy Halloween. You can tell by my face that it's Halloween. What is up, my brother CJ? What are you doing?
Just chilling. Like a
So for lack of a better word, it's clear fun. We love Halloween so much. We're gonna give you two Halloween episodes, but this one's gonna be an FTC quickie. We're gonna do our favorite Treehouse of Horror episode or skits. CJ, do you want to start with your favorite skits of Treehouse Horror or any Halloween?
Yeah, like I always like the Treehouse of Horror. It's like a cool little departure from like the main story, you know what I mean? So they can kind of like mess around and do whatever they want to. And so it's like, that like growing up with the Simpsons, like there's like all these, when I think of Treehouse of Horror, there's all these classic episodes that come to mind, you know what I mean? Like of course, like I remember like the classic one, and it might have been the first one with Burns as Dracula.
That's episode 4.
Oh, that's the fourth.
That's my favorite. That was my favorite episode.
Okay, yeah,
that episode.
Like that. When I think about Treehouse of Horror, like that's the first one that comes to my mind, and I think in that one, is that the one where they do? That's not the one where they do like the painting introductions.
Yes,
right?
It is.
That is, yeah. Like they're introducing it. They're like, "This is the Treehouse of Horror, and this is it's cool. I like the whole, the whole presentation of it. And then it's like just the classic kind of like Dracula story, of course, just with the Simpsons, and like.
But it's funny. It's funny because it is the what's his name? The director, the famous director that everyone loves, Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. It's Gary Oldman. They're parodying Gary Oldman's Dracula.
Right.
And I only know that because Carly made me watch that movie when we were in film school. Take a shot.
The movie Bram Stoker's Dracula predate that episode. It's like, I know there's the Dracula story, but that story's been around for a while. So I wasn't sure if it was that one or if it was just the Dracula story. You know what I mean?
I think it was the Dracula story because there was an superimposed image where in the movie, it was. So 92. 92 was Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman, and The Simpsons. It was as I was saying, like it was. It predates it because there's an image in the original movie where Gary Oldman is superimposed, like you can see looking down of Ken Reeves coming up. The same one where Mr. Burns is looking down, superimposed, looking at the Simpsons coming up to Pennsylvania.
I love the moment where where he's like, you have to hit the stake in his heart.
Take that, vile fiend!
Dad, that's his crotch.
Oh, sorry.
So that episode of Piazza Horror was 93. So Dracula with Friends was 92. So I'm like, but to me it just felt it too. I'm like, because even the shadow reacted lately too. I'm like, they will pay a lot of attention to this movie. And then he does a yo-yo trick.
yeah, that's awesome. There are two other skits I want to call attention to, like, because I guess I don't really have like a definitive, like, this is my favorite Halloween horror episode, but I do have ones that I do have sketches that I like a lot, that I could think about. Another one is there was another one I want to say, but this other one is in my head right now, is the the donut.
That is my favorite one too. But my favorite one is because it's Ned Flanders pulling it's the devil.
I'd sell my soul for a donut.
Well, that can be arranged.
Flanders! You're the devil?
It's always the one you least suspect.
That is the one that makes it for me. It's not the donut. It's the Ned Flanders is the devil. It's always the one I suspect.
Donut will forever be on your head.
You American, you due process.
And in the end, it's like the cops are just chilling outside his house, like he's got to come out sometime.
And that, to me, when I first saw that frightened me. That literally frightened me because I'm like, oh my god, the devil. We were like what, 7, 8 when that came out. So I'm like, I was still a little kid. But that it still holds up to me. That's still one of the scariest episodes, and it's just the One of my favorite jokes too in that episode is Richard Nixon is one of the jury of the damned.
Richard Nixon.
But I'm not dead yet. In fact, I just wrote an article for Redbook.
Hey, listen, I did a favor for you.
Yes, master.
That's my favorite one too. Those two. There's one more, but it's only because of that episode too. What is your other sketch? Or do you want to go more into that episode of the? It's called The Devil and Homer. That sketch.
The Devil. Or do you have more to say about? Yeah, we can talk about it for a bit.
No, it was just funny. It is so Homer that he goes, "I'd sell my soul for a donut." And he goes, "I'm like, oh, it is great. It is that is to me the one of
and it's like all he has to do is not eat the donut. He finds a loophole. All he has to do is not eat the donut. He does it. Like, it's awesome.
But I just also love that, like going back to like he's picking at his donut. He goes, "Stop picking at it." I'm like, "But I'm so yummy." It's that and the court of the damned. How, but it's also very like heartwarming too, like because he gave his soul to Marge. I'm like, that's warming, but that's also like, dude, how many people have you given your soul to, dude?
All right. And what's Marge gonna do with that soul? You know what I mean? Like,
it really is.
I literally keep remembering and forgetting the one that I want to talk about, but there's still one more, which is there it is. Okay. The Shining one. The Shining parody.
That's a good one.
Where there's always just this line that a couple of lines that always come back to me, but
What do you think, Marge? All I need is a title. I was thinking along the lines of no TV and no beer make Homer something.
Go crazy?
Don't mind if I do!
it's such a silly, stupid joke, but I love that whole parody. And like, I mean, it's just The Shining, but just with The Simpsons, and like, it's just goofy. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. It's I forgot about that one. I'm gonna plug in just because it's better. But that is I forgot about that one. And I only saw that too because the Disney Plus plug tell you it's Disney had a little Treehouse of Horror collection. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go down this hole. That is a great one. The other one that I remember that still kind of frightened me. It's also a parody of a Twilight episode. Is School Bus of the Damned.
Okay, yeah.
But it's a parody of Twilight Zone. But it's part like seeing the gremlin. I'm like, that is so messed up. That still scared me a little bit, especially when the gremlin holds up Flanders' head when he goes Heidi ho Barnaro, whatever. I'm like.
I mean, when I was younger, like these were a little more frightened. These were a little more scarier than like they are now. Like now they're like way more funny. But when I was young, like they were a little bit like on that edgier side. Like the one you're talking about, some of the ones we've already mentioned before. Like they had when I was like 6, you know what I mean? It was like, oh my gosh, like kind of, you know what I mean? Like
they were. I would still say they're still pretty scary. Like they still have that scary side to them. But the new ones, I'm like, this isn't really that fun or scary, you know?
Right, and they seem to be a lot way more crafted to be parodies. Than the other ones were a bit more, like you said, yeah, they were a bit more on the scarier side. They were a little bit more true to the source material, with humor involved in it. You know what I mean? But it was still like sort of like you said, like a bit of a horror element. The last one I want to mention that I kind of remember is the voting one with Kang, with the aliens come Kang and versus the other one,
Bob Dole, Kang and Kronos.
Yeah.
And they become that I think that's one of my last favorite good ones. And then I kind of went because it's the only time the Simpsons have ever dated themselves, because that was that election that year. It was they were Clinton and Bob Dole.
Right, yeah. Go away. I just remember.
It's true. We are aliens. But what are you going to do about it? It's a two-party system. You have to vote for one of us.
He's right. This is a two-party system.
Well, I believe I'll vote for a third-party candidate.
Go ahead. Throw your vote away.
It's like, it's so like, it's such a sad joke because it's like, it's funny, but it's like so sadly true.
And scary.
A little bit too, but it's just like it's such a throwaway line, but it's like the way just like, well, we just won't vote. We'll vote for another guy, and it's just like, all right, yeah, like that don't matter. Like it's like great, yeah, you're right, you're absolutely right. Like
The Simpsons scaring us and telling us the truth. That is a good one. Anything you want to talk about before we finish up this wrap up this little quickie episode? This was fun.
Any more about your favorite episode that you wanted to get into?
No, we talked about them. And then you mentioned The Shining. I forgot about The Shining. I'm like, this is pretty scary.
The one more I'll throw in there, like it's very memorable, and I do like it a lot. It's just like more of an honorable mention is the Raven one, and that's only because I love the Raven so much. The poem.
That is a good one. I love that. I love that poem too. I love Edgar Allan Poe. I love that poem a lot as a kid. I remember we were just learning about it when that episode came out.
I believe so too. Yeah.
I'm like, and the fact that Darth Vader, Mr. James Earl Jones, does the voice of the Raven.
I mean, his voice is like butter on the ears, like when he said on that poem. You know what I mean? Like,
oh wait, there's one more. I do want to say that. This is still kind of scary. I forgot about this one. The Poltergeist episode. The one where they make fun of the kind of poltergeist because they go in and the house has been murdered, but they're like, get out or whatever. It's a pretty scary.
Okay, I got you. I do remember that. Was that more of a Amityville horror one?
I think it was Amityville. Was it Amityville or Poltergeist? Because at the end, the house disappears and shrinks into itself.
I think that, well, it might be a mix. I think the house itself is designed after the Amityville house.
That makes sense.
Because I was like trying to think of what you were talking about. I was like, Poltergeist, which one is that? But then like, yeah, I think that's the Amityville horror.
Yeah, because there was also bleeding walls or whatever.
yeah, like
that one is again still on the scary side, but still funny. But still funny if I could be like, I can still watch this.
For sure. Here's another one, another throwback like that. Like, here's one that I actually thought was a little bit scary, but like it is still funny. The hair with the toupee, I think it's called Hell Toupee. Like Hell Toupee. Like that was a little kind of creepy because like the thing is like possessing them or whatever.
Homer, and he's killing the witnesses.
Yeah.
I still love how Homer's voice changes to Snake. That was funny.
Why?
that was a good snake. That was a great snake. Bye. I love how they just randomly shoot the wig to kill it.
Yeah, I know.
So yes, the Simpsons doing horror good and scary. Scary enough.
Scary enough. They do it scary enough.
Like, all right, that's good enough. I can watch. Stay there.
All right. So,
all right.
Production notes there.
From 12-year-old me.
All right.
Alrighty. Thank you for joining us for this second special episode of Halloween, our Soapbox of Horror. Whoa! Alrighty. We'll see you same bracket time, same bracket channel. Practice safe distancing. Frack off.